For a long time, an unusual silence has hovered over the Sony ecosystem. It's the kind of silence that doesn't go unnoticed, especially by filmmakers, content creators, and hybrid shooters who are used to Sony's steady rhythm of innovation. This quiet has led to growing speculation: is something major being developed behind closed doors, or has a long-anticipated camera quietly been abandoned? At the heart of this uncertainty lies a single question that continues to surface across forums, social media, and YouTube comments: where is the Sony A7S IV? Each passing month without an announcement only fuels curiosity, debate, and concern, turning that question into one of the most discussed mysteries in the modern camera industry. The anticipation surrounding the Sony A7S IV has been building for years. With every month that passes and no official word from Sony, the mystery deepens. To understand why this absence feels so significant, it helps to look back at the history of the A7S line and why it became so important to filmmakers and hybrid creators in the first place. When the original A7S was introduced, it challenged the prevailing trends in mirrorless camera design. At a time when manufacturers were competing over higher megapixel counts, Sony chose a different path. The A7S featured a relatively modest 12-megapixel full-frame sensor, but it was engineered with a clear purpose: exceptional sensitivity. This camera wasn't designed to win resolution battles, it was built to perform in the dark. Its ability to capture clean, cinematic footage in extremely low-light conditions set it apart from nearly everything else on the market. For filmmakers working in uncontrolled lighting environments, the A7S quickly became a game-changer. The A7S II strengthened that identity. With improved low-light performance and expanded video capabilities, it reinforced the series' reputation as a reliable tool for indie filmmakers and hybrid shooters. Sony had carved out a unique space with the S line, one focused on sensitivity, cinematic results, and versatility rather than sheer pixel count. Then, after years of rumors and delays, the A7S III finally arrived in 2020. It didn't disappoint. Offering 4K video at up to 120 frames per second, class-leading low-light performance, and one of the most reliable autofocus systems ever seen in a mirrorless camera, the A7S III quickly became an industry benchmark. Filmmakers praised its cinematic output, while YouTubers and solo creators valued its durability and consistency. More importantly, it reaffirmed Sony's commitment to the philosophy behind the S: a balance of sensitivity, hybrid functionality, and professional-grade video in a compact body. But the camera industry didn't stand still. In the years following the A7S III's release, competition intensified. Panasonic pushed boundaries with cameras like the S1H and GH6, emphasizing advanced video tools and robust codecs. Canon expanded its hybrid lineup with models such as the R5C and C70, blending cinema features with stills capability. Nikon disrupted expectations with the Z8 and Z9, delivering impressive speed, autofocus intelligence, and hybrid performance. Meanwhile, Sony itself continued to expand the Alpha lineup, yet the A7S series remained untouched. As time passed, the lack of news surrounding the Sony A7S IV began to feel intentional. Loyal users started questioning whether the series still had a future. Rumors had circulated for years, ranging from hopeful speculation to seemingly credible leaks. Early discussions suggested Sony might retain the signature 12-megapixel approach while introducing modern technologies like backside illuminated or stacked sensors for faster readout, reduced rolling shutter, and improved noise performance. Some even speculated about ambitious video specs such as 6K recording or ultra-high frame rate 4K. AI-powered autofocus, refined color science, and advanced stabilization, possibly inspired by Sony's newer cameras, were also frequently mentioned. On paper, the Sony A7S IV sounded like it could become a technical powerhouse. But gradually, the rumors faded. Sources that once seemed reliable went quiet. Even experienced industry insiders began admitting they had no concrete evidence that an A7S IV was actively in development. At the same time, talk of a potential FX3 II or FX3 style successor gained momentum, fueling speculation that Sony might be merging the DNA of the A7S line with its compact cinema cameras. This shift in conversation sparked a deeper debate: is Sony slowly phasing out the S series altogether? Within the Sony community, opinions are sharply divided. Longtime supporters argue that the A7S line fills a critical niche. Positioned between the FX cinema cameras and the broader A7 models, it offers a compact, hybrid-friendly solution that many creators still rely on. The A7S III continues to sell well, largely because of its form factor, low-light mastery, and versatility. From this perspective, discontinuing the line would seem unnecessary, especially when demand remains strong. Others see Sony's silence as a logical business decision. As the FX lineup grows, the overlap between Sony's Cinema and Alpha divisions becomes harder to justify. Too many similar models can strain development resources, complicate firmware support, and confuse buyers. Philosophically, some argue that the S no longer represents a unique advantage. What once made it revolutionary, low light dominance and strong dynamic range, has become more common thanks to advancements like stacked sensors, faster processors, and AI-driven image processing. Modern hybrid shooters increasingly want higher resolution, oversampled video, and greater flexibility in post-production, areas where the original S concept may feel limiting. So where does that leave the Sony A7S IV? Officially, there is no confirmation that it exists, or that it doesn't. However, the absence of credible leaks combined with growing industry chatter paints an uncertain picture. Some reports suggest Sony's focus has shifted to other upcoming models, while others believe the S line may be quietly retired in favor of a new FX series camera that serves as its spiritual successor. From a strategic standpoint, consolidating product lines makes sense. Sony could streamline its offerings by separating cinema-focused FX cameras from hybrid and photography-centric Alpha models. Still, hope remains. Sony has a history of surprising the market, and the A7S III itself arrived after a long period of silence. It's possible that the Sony A7S IV is being developed under strict secrecy, perhaps tied to next-generation sensor technology. For many creators, the possible end of the A7S line feels deeply personal, almost emotional. These cameras were never just pieces of equipment, they were creative enablers. The A7S series allowed filmmakers to work in conditions that were once considered unusable, capturing clean, cinematic images in near darkness without relying on heavy lighting setups. For documentary shooters, event filmmakers, and solo creators, this freedom fundamentally changed how stories could be told. It removed technical barriers and placed creative decision-making back in the hands of the storyteller. Beyond low-light performance, the A7S line helped redefine what mirrorless cameras were capable of in professional video production. Features that once felt revolutionary, clean high ISO footage, reliable continuous autofocus, compact full-frame bodies, and robust internal video recording, have since become industry expectations. In that sense, the A7S series may have succeeded almost too well, pushing the entire market forward and making its own innovations feel commonplace today. And so, the question continues to echo throughout the creator community: will the Sony A7S IV eventually appear, or has the series quietly reached its final chapter? Until Sony offers a clear answer, speculation will persist. Filmmakers and hybrid shooters will continue to analyze every rumor, read between the lines of each new camera announcement, and hold on to the hope that the line which once reshaped mirrorless filmmaking still has a future.